Hello, I'm Cherry Bernish. Welcome to Canales, to our design event. We're so glad you're here this afternoon, and we hope to help you with all kinds of design questions and spark your interest in all kinds of new furniture and art. Thank you for coming. We have curated several new spaces so you can see some of the things we're doing, some of our existing product as well as new. And I'm here to help answer questions, to help you design your space, to talk about color, scale. Any question you have, I'm very happy to help you, and we're thrilled that you're here. This first room we did is a little bit more earthy. We did smaller scale furniture, and we wanted you to see what a small space would look like, maybe an apartment, maybe a smaller room in your home. We have it on a Magnolia Home rug by Laloy, and it's a washable rug. And I brought an extra sample to show you just a different idea. If you didn't care for that one, there's lots of other ideas. Canales has these wonderful groups and a sofa and a love seat. We have some gorgeous sagebrook lamps. We did a gallery wall with a mirror, just so you can see something interesting, not just one picture over one sofa, something interesting. And then on this wall, over the little fireplace console, we actually pulled kind of an older vintage piece of a buffalo, give you a little Yellowstone look, or just something a little more manly. The little ottomans pulled in add immediate seating. So every room is, what do you do if 3 people show up, or you have a little added company, or your kids are here? These are super fun to move around your room, by a fireplace, anywhere, but they give you a quick additional seating. The color of the walls is also a little bit warmer. We're seeing warmer tones be so much more important. A little less gray, a little warmer color. And if you have any questions about this room, let us know. Super fun. We also used some of our new greenery from Foster's Point that's made in Houston. Gorgeous. And we filled up the cabinets with all kinds of new accessories. So you could use something like this for your stereo equipment, or you can make it fun. Doesn't have to just be equipment. In our kitchen area, we took on a more black and white theme. And we kind of had the same concept of make it an easy everyday eating room, but there's also 2 additional chairs you could pull up. So when you're, always think additional seating, perfect for bigger families or last minute company. This could be a great game room, eating area, but the black and white rug is a very fun and forgiving colorway. This is a classic piece for Canales. The sideboard is really fun too, and you could stack your dishes in it or just any kind of storage, but let it be fun, add color. We chose some really bright artwork to lift it. It's not just boring, happy. The wall color is called Swiss Coffee, and it too is warm, but gives you it's just not white, glow in the dark white, it's just a beautiful off-white color. Some fun, everyday, transitional art, as well as the brighter colors. A pair of mirrors, a pair of lamps. Pairs unite a room. It makes your eye happy to see things in pairs when it comes to lamps and things. Accessories are kind of better in an odd number. Do those in 3s or 5s. We have some even numbers here, but something like this is 3. And 3s are interesting with 3 different sizes. It just makes it a little more fun. Any questions on this room? Yes?
What other colors can you match on those kind of dining sets?
What do you mean? What other colors with?
As far as like the accents and all that.
Anything. You could do anything. I could take this down, and there's a great piece you guys have with horses. Sepia tones, brown tones. I mean, there's a million things you could put here instead of that and immediately change the room. You could do Christmas trees for holiday and change the room. Another thing that changes the room quite a bit are the rugs. So this is a great sisal. A lot of people ask for a sisal. That shows how natural that would be. And these are a little wilder. Raphael said, Cherry, they're a little too wild. Be careful. But they're really fun in this kind of space because, to your point, if everything was simple and black and white, how fun would this be? And you can take those kind of chances in a smaller area with a smaller rug. It's not too much of an investment. Help at all with your question? Yes. A little bit? So Canales will have samples all over, and I recommend looking at them. And really, a rug sometimes is the place to start your room because you pick your least amount of choices first. Paint is infinite. Wallpaper is infinite. You're probably going to choose solid upholstery, and you're probably going to choose something neutral. So you really should pick your color first. And sometimes your color comes from your rug. And that just shows you three vastly different looks. And also, sometimes it's fun to lean art. Everything doesn't have to be hung on the wall. It's very easy to lean something and add layers of color and texture and different kinds of art. Any questions here? But keep these rooms fun. Use them. Use them quick. Game night. Maybe someone's working at home that day. You just want all the rooms to be workable.
How do you pick the colors?
Oh, how do we pick the colors?
How would I know what matches what?
Oh, how do you know? What do you mean? And to go with this group as it is? I would choose colors. Choose what you like. Choose what your interests are. But when it comes to black and white, think of it like a gorgeous suit. Anything, you can put any tie with it you want. But once you've laid the groundwork, black and white is just a great, and linen, it's just a neutral, it's just a great, great, great way to start. It's your basic 101 in design. And you want to keep your scale right, yes?
What do you recommend for open spaces? Because I see you have like lots of accents and all that. What if I have like an open space?
Yes.
To do neat?
If you have a giant open space, you can float pieces. Even if you use two consoles, if you wanted to break up a room, you could use two pieces back to back, two sofas back to back. But when you float in a room, it is a little bit different, and that's a good question. You probably use lower pieces and more seating. And you might even want a bigger table. You might want an oblong table instead of a round, an oval. Oval tables are super interesting. But based on all that open space now, a lot of times in a real environment, this might be a kitchen cabinet. You might have this already in the room, this kind of a silhouette. Does that help at all? A little bit? Okay. The next room we put together is a really fun bedroom. I brought in some bedding just over the top today. It's a little, it's dressy. It's very master bedroom, very primary bedroom, beautiful. And just thought you might want to see how things work. You could take all these off and keep it real neutral and real simple. It's fun to show it over the top, but for everyday use, you might just want one pillow, two pillows. Typically in a showroom setting, we'll show it over the top. You can always peel it back, but we're going to show you maybe a little bit more than you need. You don't have to do so much. But this is one of the most important rooms in your house. Start with an awesome foundation. Buy a nice mattress. Talk to your consultant at Canales. Buy the very best mattress you can buy. It makes a difference in your life. And then start building through your bed. We chose a pretty kind of a minerally green color in here. It could go green or blue, just calm. People used to joke in your guest bedroom, if you didn't want your guests to stay but a day or two, you painted it yellow. So keep your bedroom calm and happy. It means a lot for your rest. It's where you spend half your life is in your room. We also it's pretty green and blue, and even Malini said it's pretty coastal. I brought some other samples. If you wanted it to have a little bit more of a manly twist, that's more geometric. And if you wanted to add blush, something like this would be very fun. So, and this is more blue, a little less green. But all the rug samples help you decide, what looks good in your environment and what you need. But at Canales, we do have rug samples, so take advantage of that, because once you start looking, it helps a lot. Even if you find 2 or 3 rugs you like, chances are you need a runner. You need a rug in the hall. You need a rug in your bathroom. So if you've already picked out 2, let one of them be the complementary rug. And things don't always have to be square. And I did say pairs are good, but it's okay to mix. Maybe you just want one nightstand from the group, and maybe you want to pull in nesting tables on the other side. You don't have to do square, square, square. Sometimes a little mixing up is good. I do like a pair of lamps in the bedroom, bedside, and your lighting in your bedroom is important, as every room. You should have a good reading light. You should not rely on overhead lighting in your bedroom or in your TV room. You should always have lamps. Any questions about scale or design or color? Yes?
As far as I see, this one is a king size. What
Yes.
do you recommend for a queen size? Do you recommend as those many pillows or?
Good question. So I also told Malini today, actually, we could do a whole seminar on bedding, because to me, it's a whole science. This is a deck pillow. It's a 20-inch pillow called Decorative. This is a Eurosham. It's a 27-inch pillow. For years and years and years, on a queen, we did 2, and on a king, we did 3. Lately, there's a product called the Dutch Eurosham, and it's bigger. So on a king, you really only need 2. And on a queen, we still use 2. We just layer them up a little bit and make them tighter. But on a very simple, easy bed, it would not bother me one bit to take everything off and keep it easy. And I might just do 2 Dutch Euros. Here's my sleeping pillows. So think about getting in bed at night. You're exhausted. You worked all day. You're tired. You don't want to undo the world. I might do 2 Dutch Euros and 1 pretty lumbar. That is a gorgeous, pretty bed. So for the show situation, for talks, we always show them womped up, because it's just, you want to show your best foot forward and show all the fabrics. This is totally a Lexus kind of a line, and it's totally a custom line. We also make drapes, upholstered headboards. It's just a little bit dressier. It's always available for special order, but it's probably not your everyday line. It's a primary bedroom.
How do you balance colors so it doesn't become overwhelming?
Think about tone, and think about bedroom blue, green, just soft tonal. Even if you like bolder, bright, make yourself kind of wind down a little bit to softer shades. You'll be pleased. And as you get into those softer shades, you can see how pretty they all mesh. They're gorgeous. And lighter fabrics.
I noticed that you have several mirrors.
Yes.
Why do you take that many mirrors?
First of all, in your bedroom or your dressing area, you should always have something to get dressed with. Always have a full-length mirror. If your house is small and you don't have room, use it in the hall. Use it at the end of the hall. Use it behind the door. Always have a full-length mirror. It's very important. Because if you don't know what you look like, you probably shouldn't go out the door. The rest of us appreciate it. Thank you very much. And then these are also fun to put mirrors by your bedside and behind your lamp. It kind of doubles your space, especially if you're in a colder, dark room without a lot of sunlight. It really kind of brightens it a little bit.
Now that you mentioned colder room, do you recommend glass or matte?
For paint, usually matte. You can also lacquer. In a high style situation, you can do a lacquered ceiling or a lacquered wall. I might use that in my kitchen, dining, or family. In my bedroom, I think I would keep it matte. Just think mellow and soft. Yes?
Now, a lot of people like gold, but a lot of people hate it. If you ever use gold colors, can I use like silver instead?
Oh, yes. You mean gold as far as an accent, like gold tone or gold?
Gold tone.
It's okay to mix metals. Gold, silver, platinum, you can totally mix your metals. And softer, the better. A big old scary Versace gold, chandelier's heavy for a bedroom, unless it's a giant space. You might want to keep it for a dining or family. And I might do brushed metals and just calmer in a bedroom. Scale and proportion are important. We don't always pull chairs into the bedroom, and we discussed our space on how a smaller bedroom might be. The chest could go here, and the chair could go here. but it's just really nice to have a place to set your phone, a drink of water, a book. So try to make sure the bedrooms have lamps by the bed, and that's very important. I think a lamp changes everything. There's a difference in task lighting, which comes from the ceiling, can lighting or task, overhead lighting, and ambient lighting. A lamp is considered ambient lighting. Hugely important to change a room. And you don't want to feel like you're underneath those can lights. Sometimes they're even hard for your eyes. It's hard on your vision to see through color. Any other, y'all ask good questions? Yes?
What if you're in a space like a lot of apartments have carpet everywhere, but you still put rugs?
A rug on carpet's always a little tricky. It's never going to really lay down right, unless you just happen to be somewhere that you want to cover it up. There's no magic rule to make it lay still. It's always going to move a little. You could use that rug in your bathroom, in a closet, somewhere else. Even now in apartments, we're seeing less and less wall-to-wall carpet, more hard surface. That's why you see so many rugs. But to your point, on wall-to-wall carpet, you're pretty much going to stick with carpet. A rug on top just never lays flat. I think it's always going to move, in my experience.
What would be something that I could add? Because I have carpet in my room, but I'm not sure, like, what would give it more personality? if I can't put a rug in?
Wallpaper a wall. Come in with something fun and bold. If this was a wallpaper, and wallpaper your accent wall behind your bed. Take on that bold pattern and do one wall. It just helps so much, and it's really interesting, and don't be afraid. And they even have self-stick wallpaper now. But pick something fun and bold, and that's your pop, because you're going to have neutral furniture. You're probably going to have beige. You're going to have probably neutral carpet, and your only excitement, and your bedding may or may not be neutral, but pop a wall. Even with this pattern, and this is a gorgeous dressy pattern, even this is pretty. Different textures and different scale.
So we can add it to the floors, stick it to the wall?
And you want to reverse the ground of your patterns. Reverse your background and change the scale 2.5 times. Okay, so many rules. And really, that 2.5 time rule, just change the scale. It's in proportion. You don't want everything the same scale.
So you would never recommend if you have carpet or recommend put one on top like that?
I really wouldn't. People do it, and some people are happy with it, and sometimes you have a really dense broadloom carpet, but as a general rule, that carpet's going to move underneath the rug. There's no way to make it stick flat. I think you're wasting more time and money trying to make something work. Buy a piece of art. Buy something else new. Buy a pair of lamps. Spend your money somewhere else.
Mirror.
Buy a mirror. Fourth quarter, we always laugh. Q4, a beautiful floor lamp, a pair of lamps, and a pair of mirrors is never a waste. If you don't update anything in your life, update your mattress, your foundation, buy a gorgeous mattress from Canales, buy the best you can. Even if it's the only thing you buy this year, buy one really good mattress. And then your next add-on, buy a beautiful pair of lamps and start with your art. And collect what you love. You don't have to buy all one look. Help a little, yes?
What do you recommend for a customer that has not something like in a beige color bed, but something blue?
Okay.
What do you recommend as far as they can match anything?
As if they have a blue bed, you have to bring blue back somewhere else. It can be a dot, a stripe, a little fleck. It can be blue, the subtle blue here. You have to bring blue back somewhere. Not a lot, but if that's the all over blue, like Canales has a gorgeous blue bed back here with silver stud, beautiful blue bed. If you do that, and that's a heavy dark piece, you want the rest of the blue to be an accent, a small portion of the pattern. Does that help? Hi, Juan.
I have a question. So based on the spacing of the wall, how would you know what diameter of frame that you would need for like the wall art? Like say if you have a big wall, like how big can you go or how small can you
Mix it up. Because you have a big wall, you don't have to have big art. Mix it up. Even on this wall, maybe you do big art, and these mirrors could have been hung straight up and down with the blue piece in between. Just mix it up. Lay it out on the floor. That's what we did here. That's what I do at home. Lay it out on the floor. Even use painter's tape if you're worried about getting it right. But like in the family room, we started with that big mirror on the wall. That was our first inspiration. And you might not have ever picked that mirror with that green group. But up, it works, and it's fun, and it's different. Pick different colored frames. Don't frame everything the same. Buy art you like. Frame your art to your art. Don't frame things to match your room. Frame to match the piece you're working on. But if it speaks to you, if it's this big or this big, get it and you'll like it and you'll work with it. And your art should be something you pick up on a trip. You might find a great new piece here. Just buy little things at a time. And that's why even on that room, we mixed it up. I have canvas, I have stone, I have mirror. And then we found a buffalo here that we loved, and we all kind of giggled about it because it's not necessarily a brand new something we just bought, but it's wonderful. What if that would have been from your dad or your granddad or it just shows how something charming in that big, heavy, chunky frame and that composition was pretty and warm can work. And if I had a bigger wall, I might have even put that in the gallery wall with the mirrors. So start with something when you hang a series. Start with something big in the middle, and then work off of that. Plates, baskets, anything round is awesome in a gallery wall. Any more? Did you have a question or anybody over here that I missed? Okay, maybe I answered you. Yes?
Do you recommend flowers? I mean, synthetic flowers to go as an accent? Or?
Always. Something green, kind of, once again, if you're in a space without a lot of natural light coming in, maybe you live in a high rise uptown and you don't have a lot of greenery around you, add something. It can be little. It doesn't have to be huge. Little orchids are always fun to add. And if you're in a really tight space, the trees are awesome that we've added. We have a fig tree, a fiddle leaf fig, and a ficus, and they're both really pretty, and you can change the containers.
What about colored flowers?
Colored flowers. I actually did. We did pull in some pink. But flowers, no matter what the color, should be how they come in nature. You don't want to do it so funky, glow-in-the-dark pink that it's garish. So here we added a pink hydrangea. Oh, I'm sorry. That was me. Pardon me. But this really is how this hydrangea comes in nature. So it makes sense. And did you want a giant pink all over the room? No, but a pretty little hit of this is great. And even when you're designing your whole house, you should carry a little theme throughout. If you love blue, maybe every room has a little blue. A little blue in the bedroom, a little blue in the art. So think about those things, and that's how you would add in pinks and other colors. Any other questions? Any other comments? Yes?
I have a question. Back to the arcade business here. How high should we hang them up?
Good question. And Canales has a laser, and they are rock solid. They can hang anything anywhere. But I also think art should be to your eyeball. You should have a scale. So for you and me, it's just barely above our eye level. For Francisco, it's a little bit below his eye level. So, Bianca, it can't be her eye level. She's too short. It's got to be in between. If there was a head in between those two people, that would be the perfect eye level. Just kind of a normal, Juan, you're kind of average height, so it should probably be at your eye level. I believe Canales, we discussed it, has like a 5 or 6 inch rule above something. You're also going to have to take into account your ceiling height. Here we have unlimited room to hang anything kind of how we want. But you just want to keep things up. And then if you hang this properly, you can always come in and layer, and maybe this is something you just bought, you just want to enjoy for a while. Maybe it's a platter, maybe it's carved wood. Mix your art. Yes?
How can you help me define my style if I don't know what I like, what I'm looking for?
What are your interests? Where do you live? What makes you happy? What's your favorite color? So
where do I start?
Maybe with color.
Color?
With color and scale. So I might say my favorite color is pink. Well, the last thing I need to do is paint everything pink. Oh my gosh, it would be like living in a bottle of Pepto. It'd be awful. So sometimes I like so much. I like pink and aqua and turquoise, so I have to tone myself down and use it as an accent. I wouldn't necessarily paint your favorite color on the wall. I would let your favorite color be the accent in art or paper or a rug.
It's over here. Just do you recommend? I mean, there's some people that mix the colors on the walls.
Yes.
Is that recommendable or not really?
Depends on the room. And kind of to Malini's question about having just carpet, how boring. Where am I going to get something fun? Color is so in again, and wallpaper and colored, rust, green, this whole palette, gold, is real important again. You can paint an accent wall. We just didn't do it here. Maybe we do it down on the end. We didn't do it here because the goal was to clean it up and make it bright. So if your customer came in tomorrow and said, I love it, load it up, we could put something else in here quickly. So you kind of want to think about what you can live in. It's like your very favorite bold Hawaiian shirt. You don't want to wear it every day. You would grow tired of it. So just think a little bit more conservatively on that color. But you can totally do an accent wall. And it could be darker. So we could have easily done this wall. I mean, this wall would have been fun in a blue and white stripe or a star pattern. I mean, we could have done a million different things. It's just what makes sense. And we want to help your customers. We want to help the clients with furniture and rugs and accessories, not so much wall treatment.
Just one last thing. So how do you manage this as a salesman? I love selling everything, right?
Right.
How do you manage to get a lot of stuff in there without being cluttered?
It's a good question. Just a balance. You just want to balance. We got a lot of new things in, and I packed it in, probably maybe even a little bit more than normal. But I have solid walls, I have black and white, I have kind of a neutral rug, so I could afford to be a little busier here. And the bedroom's a little bit calmer, just by nature of what that room's intended for, just rest. So just kind of based on your customer, that too much line's easy to cross.
Right.
It's almost like Coco Chanel said, take off the last thing you put on when you get dressed in the morning. So when you feel yourself going over the top in your environment, I do the same thing at home. I'm like, whew, I'm going to take off a layer, clean out. And anytime, every spring, usually for me, it's right after Christmas, the holiday's gone, and that's kind of all the January white sales, people focus on bedding, kind of declutter. If you don't love it and it doesn't mean something to you, get rid of it. Give it to your sister, donate it, whatever.
Are there any tricks aside of murals that would make the space look bigger?
Light colors and lots of light, lots of ambient lighting.
So lighting, what lighting do you recommend?
Just do gorgeous lamps. Have a nice pair of lamps in every room. Think of them like your earrings. You get your clothes on, you have your suit on, think of lamps like a gorgeous pair of earrings. And if you have a really nice pair, you never get tired of them. They move everywhere. And even you saw in the bedroom, we didn't necessarily have them side by side. We had one somewhere else in the room, but a pair of lamps unites a room. Your eye likes to see a pair of pillows. A pair of pillows on these green sofas. The pair of green ottomans. That unites your vision. This keeps your eye wants to see a pair. And then this kind of goes back to the gallery wall Juan was asking me about. Juan, this is a new mirror made in a very old style. This style is like a turned leg. And it's kind of a classic early American, to be truthful, style. But when we paired it with all the different kind of newer funky art and then the little canvas art, it just was fun. And I am sorry, the buffalo might be my favorite thing. And he was found. It's like you clean out your closet, you go, oh my gosh, I forgot I had that. Yikes.
And I'm obsessed with this room, how you did the rustic, the marble, the gold accent.
The rug really kind of united everything. And I said, I kind of like that rug. Let's use it. He's like, what about this? I go, great. So that's how fast it happens. But when you're at a place like Canales, you have everything at your fingertips. I mean, you have the opportunity, it's endless what you can do. But even for a furniture store like Canales, this is kind of a departure. Almost everything is neutral, and almost all the leathers are brown or beige, so sometimes a departure's fun. But this rug, if you think about it, pulls in every single color I put in the room. And really, your life should be that way, where maybe you have an old wood piece you've had a long time from your mom, and maybe you wanted a new gold coffee table, like your earrings. So these things, just think of your jewelry, how you tone. And then I even still like black with it.
So we love to sell your rugs. We do. How do you decide when you need a warm color or a cool color?
Well, I think right now warm colors are everything. And I think use cool in the bedroom and use warm in your family, if you want to rule. But I think sometimes the people will dictate to you. So you may be in an environment that has all glass windows and walls and beautiful trees everywhere, where you have all that warmth coming in. So you might want to pick up a little bit of something with a little bit of green, but maybe not as much as this, if you've got so much green in your background.
What is trending right now? What color is trending and what design is trending? So that's what it is?
This mid-mod look is hugely trending. Black and white, I'm going to say, never go away. And powdery blue bedrooms never go away. This is the newest color trend. And honestly, had we had more of it, or I would have pulled more rust. And that's one reason why I loved him so much, because he has that big, chunky, brown, rusty frame. So gold, green, and rust are really what's happening. This is what we're seeing. And so I picked something else, but how pretty this would be maybe as an entry hall rug, or a rug in another room. Or if the customer did have gorgeous brown leather, it'd be gorgeous.
Now, how long do you think this is going to be trending for?
I think some things are classic, and I think this will be around for a while. I'm going to say your trends are going to be 5 to 10 years. Look how long we had blue. And it was everything from powdery to a beautiful Canales cobalt blue. And now we're seeing it be an accent, and we're seeing more lagoon, teal, and a little bit of green. So the green's a welcome accent.
The whole space reminds me of Friends. It's very conversational.
Yes.
And I feel like that's one of the things that us in home is that emotion, that experience we're trying to create too.
Well, all of a sudden you have a bunch of girlfriends over, let's have a glass of wine, or let's have whatever we're doing, and there's room for everyone here. You'd be amazed how many people you can seat. So these little things add quick seating to your life and your house. I love a pair of these in front of my fireplace.
Why do you choose so many things on top of the coffee table?
In my house, I have things on my coffee table. I have books everywhere. I think every room needs books. So I use a stack of books, sometimes under a lamp, sometimes here. But if I'm entertaining or I want to serve food, I usually empty it, or I use the vessels or the trays to serve on. It's interesting and it's fun. And think about, we could take it away and it becomes very boring furniture store looking. So trying to make things a little bit more fun so people have an imagination to see something fresh and new helps. But you could easily change the look of this room with more wood or more black metal, but I thought the warm tones just worked nicely. But this also helps a customer like yours walk through and, where am I going to put my stereo? I have all this equipment. Bada bing, bada boom. We have the perfect piece with a beautiful arched open shelf, so it's not just equipment. And over here, there's also room for equipment, as well as maybe this room is tiny and doesn't have a fireplace. And all of a sudden, they get to buy a great look and warms up the room. Any more questions? Did y'all like what you saw? Do you think?
Very much.
But it's just fun it's fun to change it around and give things a different look and a different feel. So, but to the part Laura asked about color trending and how long does it last, the color of the year is not always your customer at Canales. The color of the year may be more of a fashion color for H&M. So you don't want to do funky mulberry and all these weird colors. You can accent them. We can do them in books or a little bit of art. But people are not going to live in that color forever. So be careful about trends and always have some classic. This Ralph Lauren color palette has been a classic for as long as I can remember. It just comes and goes in vogue. And really, truly, if I love it when we mix leather in this. A leather sofa in here with 2 green chairs would be dynamite. Same exact look. And I think too, sometimes we get mixed up. You don't have to buy a set. You can buy a sofa and 2 chairs. It makes a room very interesting. A pair of chairs, a different color, different texture, a different manufacturer. Any other questions on needing anything or samples or anything? Yes?
So how do you know the perfect apartment size?
Number one mistake people make when they buy a rug is they buy a rug too small. You want to buy as big a rug as the room can handle. A family room, a 5x8 rug is typically an entry size or maybe a large walk-in bathroom. But a living space is going to be an 8x10 or a 9x12, at least.
How do you pick whether it's a rectangle or a circle?
Whatever you want. Everyone doesn't offer circles. We have some great circles, but I think a rectangle is your classic size. It's just hard to mess that up. Unless sometimes a round table on a round rug is awesome. The design rule of thumb for a table and chairs, you're supposed to allow 24 inches per chair. So if you have a round table, that's 48 inches, or 24 all the way around, you're supposed to allow for room. Sometimes the room won't allow it, but that's a design rule of thumb. The chair shouldn't fall off the rug when you move it. And you should pick a rug the chair moves on. Okay, any other questions, you guys? Anything else that might make? I'm here for Q&A. If anybody wants me for anything, I'm here. But, scale and proportion are important. Lighting's important. And if you love a color, try not to overkill it. Like, I love the green in here, but I don't know that I would like a green wall. I think I'd rather have green upholstery in this case. On the flip side, if we decided to do all neutral linen upholstery, a green wall would be killer. But you don't want a green wall and a green sofa in the same place. Okay, is that fair? Thanks for having me. Thank you all. Enjoyed being here. Please stay tuned for more Canales events, more design events in our store. We look forward to having you again. Thank you so much.